evening. I'm Nick Lundquist.
And I'm Eli Scourge.
And we're here with Political News Network. Tonight, we will be discussing Jonathan Haidt's work with YourMorals.org to see how political ideology correlates to one's own morals. Now, Jonathan Haidt has created 5 pillars of morality. They are care, fairness, loyalty, authority, and purity. Now, the liberals tend to want more government involvement on issues involving care and fairness than their conservative counterparts. So, for example, the healthcare initiative by President Obama, that would be more, as we know, endorsed by liberals rather than conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
And the conservatives want more of a focus on the authority, loyalty, and purity. So, for example, the Patriot Act. Conservatives are more likely than their liberal counterparts to endorse the Patriot Act.
Yeah, so basically, we here at PNN News have decided to reproduce one of Jonathan Haidt's studies using the same questions that he has in his survey and the same scale, the scale of 1 to 7, 1 being you strongly disagree with the question at hand, or 7 being you strongly agree with the question at hand. And based off of the numbers you choose, we're able to tell whether or not you're more likely to be liberal or more likely to be conservative. So here are the interviews that we did, and at the end we'll talk a little bit about our results and some of our math. So here are the interviews. I'm Eli Scourge with PNN News, here with Tyler, who is also a member of Tommy Hall. Tyler, I'm going to ask you some questions based off your morals and your standings on political ideology.
Okay.
And you're going to answer them on a scale of 1 to 7. 1 being you strongly disagree, and 7 being you strongly agree.
Don't you give reasoning or just... Alright.
Alright. Okay, so evil people harm others for the joy of it.
I'd say a 7.
Okay. Access to health care is a right.
I'd say a 2.
Alright. Racial issues will never be resolved. It is human nature to prefer one's own race.
I'd give that a 3.
Alright.
Yes.
Okay. And the last one. The military budget should be scaled out. Scaled back.
I'd say it's 1. 2.
1? Okay. Oh, 2?
Either or. Yeah,
Alright. I'm going to ask you one more question, and it's going to be whether you determine yourself to be a liberal or a conservative.
Say conservative. More
Okay.
of that.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you for your time,
Thank
Tyler.
you very
You
much.
have a nice night.
You too. Try to finish this.
I'm Nick Lundquist, here with PNN News. Tonight with me is Johnny Holtz, another resident of Tommy Hall. Johnny, tonight I'm going to be asking you a few questions about your moral standings to figure out where you stand politically. These questions are ranked 1 through 7, 1 being strongly disagree, and 7 being strongly agree. The first question is, pure good is an unselfish, heroic thing for others in need.
5. I'm going to give that a 5, Mr. Lundquist.
Do you believe in pure good?
I'm going to give that a 1.
Access to health care is a right.
4.
Patriotism is an overrated quality.
4.
The military budget should be scaled back.
6.
And do you consider yourself a liberal or a conservative?
I like to align myself with the anarchist party.
Okay.
Not a very, very strong fan of government.
Alright, thank you very much. I'm Nick Lundquist, here with PNN News. With me tonight is Patrick Daly, another member of Tommy Hall. Patrick, tonight I'm going to ask you a couple questions based on your morality that correlate to your political ideology. Alright?
Okay.
And these questions are ranked 1 through 7, with 1 being you strongly disagree and 7 being you strongly agree. Alright, so evil people harm others for the joy of it.
2.
Do you believe in pure evil?
2.
Patriotism is an overrated quality.
4.
Strong gun ownership rights protect people against tyranny.
7.
Do you consider yourself a liberal or a conservative?
A liberal.
evening. I'm Eli Scorch with PNN News, and with me tonight is Tommy 2RA, Brandon Franta. How are you tonight, Brandon?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you some questions based off your morals that will determine your political ideology, and you're going to answer them using a scale of 1 to 7. 1 being you strongly disagree, and 7 being you strongly agree with the question asked.
Okay. Do I have to explain myself or just?
You can a little bit.
Okay.
A brief, right? First question is, evil people harm others for the joy of it.
I'd say 4.
Okay.
The reason I would say that is I'm not kind of like leaning one way or another because I feel like some people do it depending on like their past and stuff if they've had a bad history, but also from a science perspective, because I am pre-med, some people can't help it. Some people are just born that way with that ideology and they can't really help it, so that's the reason why they do it. So that's what I'd say.
Alright, and for your second question, do you believe that law should restrict abortion in all or most cases?
I'd say 1. I'm definitely for like choice and stuff, give people the right to decide. I think that's the society that we live in, and I would agree with that. I don't think we should really tell people based off of that what they should do. I think it should be up to them.
Alright. Racial issues will never be resolved. It is human nature to prefer one's own race.
I'd say 3 on that one. I think there's always going to be definitely issues with races and stuff. No matter how far we get like beyond that, there's always going to be things that are going to occur and problems that are going to arise between different racial groups. I would hope that we could get beyond that, but looking at it for our society, I think we're going to kind of, yeah.
Alright, I'm going to ask you one more. A person's morality is of the most personal nature. Therefore, the government should have no involvement in moral questions or promote moral behaviors.
No, I'd say a 4 on that one too. I'm kind of in between on that, so I'd like to leave it at that.
Would you consider yourself to be more liberal or conservative or somewhere in the middle?
I'm definitely probably more in the middle. I don't really have kind of like one or the other, but if I did have to choose, I'd probably say more conservative.
More conservative?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Brandon.
Yep, thank you.
Hello, I'm Eli Scorch with PNN News, and with me is Peter Molitor, a resident of Tommy Hall. Peter, how are you doing tonight?
Very good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Tonight I'm going to be asking you some questions about your morals, and they're probably going to determine your political ideology. And you're going to answer them on a scale of 1 to 7. 1 being you strongly disagree, and 7 being you strongly agree. Okay?
Alright.
Alright. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, do you believe that evil people harm others for the joy of it?
I'm gonna say a 4, probably because I feel like some people may do harm because they enjoy it, but that's implying that like everyone does. So I don't think everyone does it because they enjoy it.
Okay. Alright, my next question for you is patriotism an overrated quality?
I'm gonna probably put that at a 5.
Okay.
I think patriotism is a good thing, but I think being an overzealous patriot is a blinder, and you sometimes don't see wrong because it's just un-American, possibly might see it as un-American to see it as wrong.
Right. Okay. My next question is, do you believe that law should restrict abortion in all or most cases?
2.
Okay.
I think I'm a strong believer in my body, my rights,
Okay.
and I don't believe anyone should tell anyone else what to do with their body. Basically, that's basically it.
And then my final question is: strong gun ownership rights protect the people against tyranny?
2.
Okay.
Gun ownership. I mean, people should be allowed to own guns, but if that's the mentality that people might have, they're going to be trigger happy because just because they disagree with something doesn't mean that they're the majority. And if they have that mindset that they're the people protecting, it's my job because I have a gun to protect you, that's the only criteria.
Right.
That's not a good idea. No, I
Okay.
disagree.
And then I'm going to ask you: do you consider yourself a liberal or a conservative?
I consider myself. I try to stay moderate, but I'm definitely more liberal.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, Peter. It was great talking to you.
Good evening. I'm Mick Lundquist, here with PNN News. With me tonight is Dan O'Keefe, a member of Tommy Hall. Dan, tonight I'm going to ask you a couple questions about your morals that correlate with your political ideology. All right? So you're going to rank these questions from 1 to 7, with 1 being you disagree and 7 being you strongly agree. And afterwards, can you tell me a little bit about why you chose that?
For sure.
Okay. It is a problem when young people display a lack of respect for authority.
I'll say 5 on that one. And that's because, you have to show respect for authority figures, because that's just how the system works. If you disrespect, you're probably going to be breaking some laws or regulations of some sort. And just our society just works better that way.
Alright, second question. Unions were indispensable in establishing the middle class.
Yeah, because, it kept things fair. It was, I'd say it's about 7.
Right. Sometimes war is necessary, even if it means you have to strike first.
No, war is not. I'd say 1 on that one. War is not necessary. I believe that most things can be solved diplomatically, and they should be. And there are other methods that are non-violent. And
People with a criminal history should not be able to vote.
no, I'd say 1 on that. I say that because they're still part of our society. They're still citizens, obviously, and just because they mess up one time in their past or multiple times, even for that matter, they still have a voice in the way our direction the country should be directed.
Right. And would you align yourself more with the conservatives or the liberals?
I don't affiliate myself with a political party.
Thank you.
Well, those are some pretty interesting interviews, if I did say so myself. Yeah. During our interviews, in fact, as you saw, most of the people decided to stay somewhere in the middle, and if they were forced to choose a side, they said they'd lean to the left, or the more liberal opinion. And we can clearly see that in our mathematical results. We took all the numbers that we got from the people, and based off the questions that they asked and the numbers that they gave us, we were able to tell whether they would lean more Democrat or more liberal. More Democrat or more conservative when making a decision based off their political ideology.
Mm-hmm.
And we can see that our mathematical results matched the answers that a lot of the people gave us, which is pretty much exactly what Jonathan Haidt said in his results. So it's a pretty legitimate form of psychology, if you ask me.
Right. We had roughly 15 answers be more liberal, and 11 were answered more conservatively. So that does show it is close, but still slightly more liberal. And note that these results are not representative of all of Tommy Hall. They only represent a small population, and this is mostly intended to prove process used by Jonathan Haidt.
Well, thank you guys for watching Political News Network, and we'll see you next time. Once again, I'm Eli Scorch.
And I'm Mick Lundquist.
Have a great night.
Thanks for watching.